Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Airport CEO and welcome back to Belfast International Airport. Things are going really well. We have $7.3 million. We are in the middle of researching large aircraft, as well as a couple of new trailer trucks and some structural engineering. But that's not where I want to get started today, because there are a few more services that we can provide to all of the aircraft that are coming and going, which will make us a little bit more money, which is never necessarily a bad thing. I want to get started with a catering depot and a waste depot, and I'm thinking the waste depot is going to be the one that we start with here today, because it just needs to be connected to a bunch of service roads. So it can live right about there. And then what we can do is go ahead and connect some service roads across this way. I was thinking of connecting them to this road, but that's on the stand, so it might be weird. I think we're just going to do this, and I think we're just going to do this. So we have the connection at either end connecting out this way, which I now realize is also connecting to a stand on that side. So you know what? We're just going to do this. A couple of roads that cut across in here should be no problem at all. We will need to get some vehicles for that, but we'll do that shortly, because I also, like I said, I want to come in here and get some catering. Now this thing needs to connect out to public roads. So my thinking for this guy is that it's going to live right about here. And then what we can do is bring some service roads down at the back to connect this way. And we can bring some public roads across this way, so it's connected at the front. We do have some fences down here already, which kind of separates everything. But I think what I'd like to do is move them to here and also move them to, it's going to be slightly tricky on this side to move the fences. You know what? Maybe it's fine just having them at either end like this. I'm not really too sure if that'll work to keep animals out, but we will find out together is what we're going to do. Now we are going to need some new vehicles. So my thinking is that maybe it's not such a bad idea to get another vehicle depot, which would fit down here really nicely. So it can live in that space, and we can put some concrete tiles underneath it just to make it look nice and paved the way we've done over here. And then once this is all built, we get some vehicles, we start providing those services, and hopefully that's going to make the airlines a little bit happier. And in return, well, I was going to say hopefully we get more flights, but looking at it, we now have a full day of Swiftly flights coming in here. We could use a little bit more from Maple. Only 4 flights per day isn't really great, where we have, you know, 5 from Swiftly and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 from, well, technically 5 from Olympus on that stand as well. You know what? We're probably fine. We probably don't need anything more from any airline other than maybe Maple. We'll go with Maple needing a little something in there. Anyway, the waste depot is up and running, as is the catering depot as well. So we'll go into vehicles, we're going to purchase vehicles, and we want to get some stuff for our aircraft. My thinking is that maybe we go for, I don't know if catering's needed for small aircraft. I'm kind of thinking we just go for 10 and 10. To be completely honest, I think that's probably for the best. And then I could potentially assign those vehicles manually to this depot, which has got 20 parking spaces. That might not be the worst way to go. I also want to check for contracts, because for the life of me, I don't remember if we need to. Yeah, we do need catering food suppliers. We have Sky Garden, which is a 4 out of 5-star contract. I think we're just going to approve that one, because that's probably for the best, and that's probably going to be the best that we're going to get. I don't think we need to worry about any contracts for cleaning the aircraft, which is fantastic news. So we'll have these trucks come in here. I think this is the supplier bringing us a bunch of stuff right now, which is absolutely fantastic. And then there we go. A bunch of new products are arriving, which should mean that we start to see a whole bunch of trucks coming in here for both cleaning and catering. That one right there is a cabin cleaning truck, which is perfect. And then somewhere in there, we will have the catering ones. There we go. That's our catering trucks right there. That's perfect. That's what we're looking for. I think I would, and I know this is going to be slightly tedious to do, but I would like to assign these guys to this specific vehicle depot, because I can't assign them to aircraft stands, but having them down here seems like it makes the most sense, since I kind of built this depot specifically for these guys. And so hopefully they can all get around here nice and easily and go into their parking spot, which is exactly what we're looking for. It looks like a bunch of them are arriving, which is perfect. So the question now is, do we need to go into operations and enable this? We do. Catering service enabled. Cabin cleaning is enabled. We don't have de-icing right now, but I'm not going to worry too much about that one. Although, in fairness, I'm pretty sure it is something we could do. Do we have to research de-icing? That's the real question. We do. We would need a weather station in order to get de-icing in here. So if we go and have a look, we have got weather stations here. And this is going to collect extensive information about the weather in your airport surroundings and enables 7-day forecasting in the weather panel, including severe weather detection. Okay, this guy's gonna live down here, is what I'm thinking. We're just gonna tuck it right down there in that corner. And while we're doing this, let's also get some radar towers. I don't know if these stack, but if we build a medium-sized radar tower, we can increase the maximum limit of daily flights by 50. Which I don't know about you, but that sounds like a great idea. And then I'm pretty sure the large one gives us a bonus of 100. So let's build a radar right there. And let's build the other one. I want to say this feels like it should be further out. This doesn't feel like it should be tucked away in here. We don't really have the room further out for it, unfortunately. Maybe there would be kind of a cool spot for a radar tower. Although we could have just got both. You know what? I'm just going to tuck both of them in here. It's fine. We're just putting both of them right in here. Like I said, I don't know if they stack, but that's fine. We will find that out together. Looks like we also have the concrete now, which is great. We're not going to be using concrete for this airport though. We're going to be sort of holding off on using concrete for anything other than the upcoming international terminal, which is going to be very exciting. Although I will put some stuff underneath these towers because I think that'll be pretty cool. So I guess the real question now is, yeah, we do have cabin cleaning going out and we do have catering going out, which is amazing. And we're getting money for both of those, which I absolutely adore. I do really like seeing those guys coming and going. I love how easy that was to set up as well. I feel like in past series of this, I've always not struggled to set it up because it's easy to do, but I've always struggled to have the space to set these things up. But this just works really, really nicely. And it's just a bunch of extra money that we didn't really need, but I'm not going to say no to either. Now, interestingly, it turns out the radar towers do in fact stack. So we can now have up to 350 flights per day in this airport, which is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous number of flights. But I'm really tempted. I'm really really shouldn't do this. But I'm really tempted to get more remote stands for these small flights out here. I could do another 5 on the other side, but to do that, I almost feel like we'd have to go underground. I feel like we'd have to put some little like underground stands for the buses, because we really don't have the room up here. We absolutely do not have the room up here. But we could do a little subterranean thing, which could be kind of fun. The only problem is I'm fairly sure we probably don't have the room here, right? So this guy is maxed out right now. This guy is a hair away from being maxed out right now. And this one connects over to the helicopters, so we're not doing that. So if I wanted to do more stands, I would need another baggage bay. And if I want another baggage bay, I need another baggage collection space, which would probably mean taking out some of these staff rooms here, which I'm not against doing, but is it worth doing that for more medium stands? That's the real question. Or sorry, small stands. Because I could do medium stands. I could do, 4 more of these remote, but I don't know if that makes sense. I also kind of wonder, could I get a small stand in here just for that corner? Is that a thing we could do? Because if it is, I wouldn't be... Oh, no, it isn't. It would sort of mess up that corner, which is fine. So 5 more of these. Do I want to do this? I kind of do. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to go for it. And we're going to see what we can do and see what trouble I can get into with 5 more stands. If I can have up to 350 flights going through this airport, then I can manage another bunch of remote stands. That's how I'm choosing to look at this. It might be a terrible idea, but that is how that is how I'm going to look at this. I just need to figure out how I'm going to get 5 buses underneath this airport. So let's let's figure out where I'm doing this. So we have this space here, which is great. Stairs or elevators? I feel like the elevator's cheating. I'm gonna be honest. This elevator's doing a lot of heavy lifting in this airport. But I feel like since it's doing so much heavy lifting, I'm gonna continue to let it do heavy lifting, and I'm gonna figure out where the middle of this terminal is. So right here is our midpoint, which is fine. So that's probably where an elevator is gonna go. We need how many terminal tiles for these guys? 4 per bus stop is slightly terrifying, but we have the room to play with here. So we'll do, oh boy. How do I want to do this? I could do like wings almost. How big are those guys? They are 2 tiles deep. That's a problem. Okay. What if I did this and this, and we did something like that? That's room for 4 buses, which is great. And then over here, that would be room for 4 more. So that'd be room for 8, which I'm fine with. We could do the service car stop up here, perhaps. And then right in the middle of all of this is where the elevator is going to go. Whether or not that's a good idea, I have yet to figure out, but we're going to give this a shot. We're also going to need probably bathrooms down here. So maybe, I don't know, a little, maybe a little bathroom up here would be an idea. A staff room here would be a good idea. Maybe just one big staff room down here, or multiple staff rooms down here, because we're probably going to get rid of the ones upstairs. Although, no, you know what I've realized? I'm cutting into my space for, oh, I'm cutting into the space for the buses if I do that. Oh, I've made this slightly more complicated than it needs to be, but I'm going to figure it out. The airside shuttle bus stops, if we get them, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. We only need 5 of them. That's the thing. But my thinking now is if I can get 8 down here, I can do more remote stands for medium flights. We just technically wouldn't have the room. So do I have room over here for 3 more of these guys? I totally do. Yeah, I totally do. All we're gonna have to do is bring some taxiway down here, and then I put them the wrong way around. That's embarrassing. Yep, that's really embarrassing. We'll go ahead and get these guys in here the proper way around this time, and that'll be fine. I am hoping that we're gonna have enough medium flights to connect all of these stands and get them working. If we don't, then I might have to ever so slightly pivot and figure out another idea here, but that seems fine by me. We will need a bunch more buses, which I'm slightly concerned about, but that should be fine. We can make that work. When it comes to all of this space, we are going to need to go underground again with some conveyor belts. So let me just figure out, oh man, let me figure out how I'm going to do this. So we are going to need a bathroom. I think this little section can be a bathroom, and that'll be fine. We are going to need an elevator, which I basically want to be in the middle of this space. So let's make all of this nice and secure to start with. And then I hope this elevator is somewhere convenient that I can work with. I want it right in the middle. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's not gonna it's not gonna play nicely with the layout that I want here. Where is this? Oh, that is a nasty, nasty spot for an elevator, isn't it? It kind of needs to be there. That's a rough spot. Oh, I'm gonna have to make this wider, is what I'm gonna have to do. Absolutely gonna have to make this wider. Elevator's gonna live there, which I'm fine with. That I can work with. This entire space, we need to move all of this out by 1. So you guys need to go away. We need to go in and get the terminal, which is now gonna be like this, which I guess is probably fine. We want to take out the extra walls that we have in here, so that we can make all of this space nice and secure. And I guess it gives me more room for a bathroom, which is fine. Put some walls around the elevator. And then up here, we want to do the same thing, walls around the elevator. So something a little bit like this. We're going to have to move these guys as well, which is a shame, but they have to go. They've been there forever. That hurts, man. Getting rid of that. Yeah, that hurts. So I think the roads for this space, we can have them split off here at some point, but what I think we'll do is have them meet up with this intersection, which might cause some problems depending on how many buses we're dealing with here, but that'll be all right. We are going to need to take out this conveyor belt though. So all the way back like this, all of this needs to go away, which is totally fine. It is going to interrupt the, well, the incoming cargo for a little while, but we will manage, assuming my contractors get to this in a good amount of time. They have taken out some of it already. They took out 2 chunks of conveyor belt and have since given up on the rest of it. There we go. At least they're good at demolishing things. Whether or not they put all this back in good time is yet to be seen, but we will find that out together. I'm also thinking let's come down here and get the conveyor belt up from, wait, no, it is this way around and right there. And then if we connect these guys together, hopefully that's going to be enough to get that all running nice and quickly. And then all I need to do is go in here with some more service roads, connecting all of this together. So that'll let the buses in, it'll let them go to either side. I have ever so slightly forgotten about the service car, which is less than ideal. I'm kind of wondering what I want to do with the service car. In fact, I'm kind of wondering, could I by any chance get away with a service car stop over here and a crosswalk for my ramp agents? That might be the way to go on this. We will see if that works. I'm kind of hoping it does. So it'll be something like this, and then a crosswalk right there and right there. And then the ramp agents can just use whatever doors we have in this space to, you know, go ahead and get out there. And I guess while this is all being built, let's go ahead and figure out where the bathroom's gonna go. I'm kind of looking at this space and thinking that'll kind of work. We can do some walls on either side. We can do some doors on either side. So if people want to use the bathroom to get through here, they can for whatever reason. And then for the toilets themselves, what way do I want to do this? Do I want to just line a wall the way I always do? I kind of do. I think just lining this back wall is going to be more than enough. We don't need to get too complicated with this. We're not really building for the aesthetics here anyway, so that'll totally work out. The sinks, we could do some walls in here if I really wanted to get fancy. I think we'll get a little bit fancy. Nothing too crazy or too fancy, but just a little something like this. We'll do some sinks there and there, there and there, and we'll do them on those other walls as well. And maybe some hand dryers just at the end there and there. And maybe down here as well. That seems fine. That's a decent little bathroom. We can get some nice tiles underneath that and go ahead and get it opened up. And we will probably see some people coming down here pretty quickly to use that. We absolutely do, which is fine. I'm not super worried about that. Now, before we get too much further with this whole thing, let's go ahead and start putting some doors in here right in the middle of all of these stands, because I think that makes the most sense. We can play with a little bit of symmetry on this as well once we get this all in here. But we are going to need to get ourselves some boarding desks, and we will go with the self-boarding gates because I think that makes the most sense. The only problem I'm going to have here is I can't have them sort of back to back, unfortunately. So they're probably going to be, do we want to do rotational symmetry in here? I think we will. We probably don't need 2 of them though, now that I think about it. So if I wanted to, I could do this, but that seems a little cramped. Rotational or mirrored symmetry? That's the question I've got to ask myself here. I don't know. It doesn't really matter either. I think we're going to go for mirrored symmetry just because that's a little easier. So we'll do this and this and this and this, and that'll connect out to those stands. Over on this side, same thing. And I'm putting these stands on sort of the outside of these doors because the people coming through can kind of walk past them and straight to the elevator rather than having to go out and around the stands there. I think that makes sort of the most sense. And then when it comes to seating, we really won't need much because we are dealing with smaller aircraft. So maybe I can get away with something a little bit like this for these spaces. I might go in with just some of these guys in the middle as well, although I'm not 100% sure that we're going to need those, but that's probably going to be enough for seating for all of that space. We have this room down here, which could be a staff room. It probably will end up being one. I'm not against the idea of doing maybe a little shop down there though, if I can get away with it. I have my doubts. I don't think I will get away with it, but it would be kind of cool to have a little shop down here. In fact, I wonder if I could get a little food room down here. Is this space is big enough for something like Bell Beer, which we've had before and is kind of fitting given that this is Belfast International Airport. Bell Beer just seems like a great idea. So we'll do a little food shop down here and just see how it goes. I'm also playing around with the design of the space a little bit. We're going for the wood trim with the lighter carpet in the middle because I think that'll look really good. And then for Bell Beer, let's go for, I mean, this is technically, I don't think it's a restaurant, but we'll go for something like this. What are they going to be wanting? Display fridges and cafe counters. So if we go in here to shops or rather restaurants and whatnot, they are going to want counters. We'll just do one right in the middle. That seems like the best place for it. We can do some cafe counters like this. We have display fridges that we can put on either side. I don't know what way around these go. I think that way. I think that's how they go. So we'll do 1, 2, we'll do 3 and 4, and that's probably enough. I can do 5 and 6 like this, I guess, along with some more food counters down at the ends because I think that looks cool. And then maybe more of those, unless that's enough, which it actually is. So we'll go ahead and sign that contract, which is great. And I'm wondering, can I get a little window in there? I totally can. We can get 2 of them right there. And that'll look pretty good. So that's going to be our little food shop. And that's probably going to be quite popular because we don't have a regular food shop anywhere else in the airport right now. So I'm looking forward to this being really, really busy. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. Now, I have connected these stands to the boarding desks. I just need to connect the boarding desks to the planes or to the aircraft stands. So I'm going to keep the game paused while I do this because I want to make sure the stands themselves don't happen to get enabled while I'm doing this, because that would be slightly problematic. And so with that all connected, all we need to do now is get more baggage handling, which fortunately is relatively straightforward. Also looks like we've managed to unlock the, yeah, we have room for the large stands now, which by the way, just in case you were curious, they're large. They're sizable, those large stands. We're not going to be getting those anytime necessarily all that soon. The large runway, also quite large, also something of a chungus, also wider than the existing runways, which means the taxiways also need to be wider. So this is going to be a whole thing when we get around to building those. But for now, I just want to focus a little bit smaller on getting all of this good stuff in here. So let's get a little extension there. Then we need another 7 by 7 space here. And we're doing exactly the same thing that we've done before. We're taking out 2 big sections of wall on either side. We want to go and get ourselves our service roads, which are going to be coming in up to here and here. Just something like that. And we can bring them across while we're here as well, because basically once I get this set as a secure space, which really isn't going to take too long at all, we also probably want it to be a staff space as well, because again, we don't want people coming down here. We can go ahead and get ourselves a good old, wherever the heck it happens to be, good old baggage bay. So this guy is going to live basically right there. And then we have to sort of plumb it into everything else that we have going on. It's a whole thing putting more baggage in here, but I do think the layout that we have going on is working really nicely for this airport. It's nice being able to just sort of cut into the existing conveyor belts, extend it up, and then sort of merge everything around a little bit later on. The only problem is that we also have to come in here and now start taking out some of these staff rooms, which I don't love that we have to do this, but I'm going to. We're going to turn it off and delete it. We're going to bulldoze these guys and take out all of this stuff as well. And I'm probably just going to keep these side walls so we kind of have this corridor here and then put some baggage handling in this space. It should be fine. It'll be doable. It'll work. It's just a little frustrating. But I guess while all of that's going on, let's go ahead and start looking at some conveyor belts. We want the escalator down right here and here. And then we want to go and get the escalator up to be right here and here. We can connect this all together the way we have done a few times already, so everything can get in and out of the airport. And then the bags coming in are going to be coming off of this guy. So that corner needs to go away. This gets extended up to wherever it gets extended up to, which looks to be right about there, I think is our spot. It absolutely is. So connect you guys together. And then for this part, it is what exactly? Okay, it is one gap between those. So you start there. This comes out to this spot and straight down to there. And all we need to do is go ahead and get some more escalators and whatever, escalator down, I guess. They're both called escalators. So we'll go ahead and put those into these spots and connect those together as well. So that's going to let everything get out of the airport going this way. Everything can come in this way, which is fine. The only thing we'll need to do is put a tilt tray up here to make sure that stuff can either go to the left or continue straight on the way it will need to. It's just that my contractors, I think, are going to be a little bit busy. But the good news is that this is coming together. So what we can do, that's going underground. What we can do is come over here. We can shift click on all of these stands right here. And then all we need to do is connect them underground to that baggage bay. And then once that's up and running, I can just open all these stands and go to town. We are going to need baggage collection, obviously. We haven't quite got that yet, but that's what this space is going to be for. So we'll go in here. We'll get some regular conveyor belts. And for the life of me, I don't quite know what way I want to do this. I like the idea of the conveyor belts coming out. So let's do... How do I want to do this? That's going to be the real question. Let's do something like this going across the back. Let's have you come out to here and we'll have you sort of loop back this way. And I think that'll be kind of interesting. Is what we'll do. So it's going to come back out this way. It is going to go down like this. And then the escalator to bring the bags up is going to be right in here, right in this corner. So right about there. And that seems like it's going to be fine. That lines up with everything else that we have going on. It's a bit of a different spot, but that should be all right. And then in theory, I can go in here with some hedges and kind of hide that little escalator. I think that's cool. And I think that's a good spot for it. All we got to do now is make it a baggage claim area. And we also want to go in and make sure that these little parts here are all set as staff only spaces. So no one's going to be climbing on the escalators. They can just collect it from in here, which should be totally fine. We can also go in with some seating, just a little bit in the middle should be fine. We could do some over here as well. If I brought that wall around, that would be an option, but I don't think I will. I think we're fine with just a little bit in there. And I think we can also go for just the same old blue carpet underneath everything as well. Now with this baggage bay connected to that baggage collection space, let's go for the usual 8 ramp agents per side. That's probably too many, but that's totally fine by me. I would rather have too many than too few. And what we can do is hire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. We'll reject the rest and we'll hopefully get some more in here in not too long at all. This tilt tray is up and running, which is great as well. We have some ramp agents coming out here, which you absolutely love to see. And I suppose we'll get some doors on here as well, just to make that make sense. Let's have another look at ramp agents. 1, 2, 3, 4 more is definitely worth having. And this guy isn't up and running right now because I think the conveyor belts still need to be built. And also this guy needs to be switched on, which is good. So in theory, we are now in a position. What are you guys all queuing for? What are you? You are not. They're queuing for Bell Beer. They're wait a minute. Hold on. If I click on this, it puts a little green dot under everybody. They are all of these people are queuing for Bell Beer. That is ridiculous. Is this place? This place doesn't have a contract right now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm potentially going to run Bell Beer out of business. We're going to get rid of that room. We're going to go in here and bulldoze all of this stuff, which that's building a terminal area. That's not what I wanted. Bulldoze all of you. Bulldoze all of you. And we're going to turn this into a little food room is what we're going to do, because I think that'll be great. Surely we can get a 2-star contract. We can get Swift Veg in here. Can we get a 3? Is that an option? It actually is. We could get a sushi place in here. Although it's an actual restaurant. I kind of want to avoid putting a restaurant in here. So I think what we'll do is just go in here with a bunch of display fridges the way it wants me to. We can kind of dot them around the place a little bit and hope for something good out of all of this. We'll get 4 of them down there. We'll get 4 of them down here. 1 right up there as well seems great. And I think we could do maybe just a couple right in front of that door as well. And that should be fine. That's just going to be Swift Veg is my thinking, which requires cafe wait, those aren't cafe counters. Hold on a minute. Have I got the counters wrong? I might have. Yeah, we absolutely have got the counters wrong. Okay, so these need to go as well is what needs to happen. And I guess while we're here, let's put some nice tiles underneath this whole thing. I'm kind of thinking, I kind of like that mosaic. It's a little different. We don't usually play with it too much, but it looks pretty good. And I'm also thinking 1, 2, 3, 4 of those smaller cashier counters might be a really good idea, because it means that we're doubling the number of cashiers while using basically the same amount of space as we have downstairs. So we'll see if that ends up being a good idea. A couple more display fridges up there won't hurt either. And we can immediately go ahead and get Swift Veg into this space. And we'll see if it's popular. Hopefully that stops the massive queues. We are starting to see some serious queues at security as well. And this cannot be reached. Interesting. Why is... we're missing a tilt tray. There's our problem right there. So I suppose with all of this now connected and with our baggage handling all basically set up, we can go ahead and get maybe another couple of ramp agents just to make sure that we're going to be doing good. But what we're also going to need is to go in here and get some vehicles. That's going to be a must-have for all of this. We're going to need to get ourselves some more buses. So we'll go and hire or buy 8 of those. And I'm going to get myself, say, 4 service. Actually, you know what? We're going to do 8 service cars as well. And then I think what I'd like to do is get some more space for them to park. I think that's important. I think that's something we really want to get our hands on. And so let's see if I can use this space up here. It's a little bit, we're getting a little bit cramped with our parking around here, but I think it'll be all right. We could go for like this spot, which is probably not the worst spot in the world. We could go in here as well, which I'm not against doing, or even down here. And I kind of like the idea of just using this spot and just kind of stacking them along. That might actually be a really good idea, because what we can do is put them both there. We can pave underneath them the way we've already done, and then just go across with a service road connecting all of this around. That right there actually makes a fair bit of sense to me. And then the last thing we need to do is start assigning these buses to these small stands so that they're always ready for passengers to be arriving. So that's going to be 4 of them. That is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And that last one makes number 8. I've also gone ahead and assigned a bunch of small baggage cars to each of these stands, because I figure that makes a fair bit of sense. So they're going to be coming out and doing their thing here in no time at all, which is what we're looking for. And I figure it probably wouldn't hurt to go ahead and paint these guys in the same blue that we've used for all of the rest of our vehicles. That's assuming the baggage cars are all out here, which it seems like a few of them are not just yet, but they'll get there. There's another one coming in, which is absolutely perfect. Not sure where he's going. There we go. We've got you as well, and we're missing 2. Not 100% sure where they've got to, but we're missing 2 baggage cars. We shouldn't be. We absolutely shouldn't be. I think that's one of them. It absolutely is one of them. Where are you going? You're going here. We're now missing 1. And again, we shouldn't be, but we are. Oh, there he is. He's just running a little bit late, which is, I guess, totally fine. We don't want that with the aircraft, but if he's running late here, that's better late now than late later. Let's go ahead and get these all connected to a remote stand for the service cars. Fortunately, we did build the 2 of them. So if I select these 3 and go ahead and connect them to that top stand, we can select, or sorry, those 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, and connect those to that bottom stand. I'm hoping that's going to be enough. And I'm hoping that what I can do is select all of these and open them all up, which I absolutely can. That's a lot of new stands. That is a lot of new stands. That is potentially going to make us very, very busy. And I might deeply regret doing that, because what I've effectively done is I got rid of the general aviation problem that we had with not enough runway space. And I've kind of just potentially made it a lot worse by more than a factor of 2. So this is going to be interesting, is what it's going to be. I also don't know if we have enough small flights to populate those stands. So I've kind of made the executive decision that maybe it's time to just accept flights from everybody. These guys have small flights, these guys do not. Maybe we just accept small flights or accept contracts from people that happen to have the smaller flights. These guys have some medium ones as well. Goose Wings has a bunch of Cessna stuff. You guys have some regional stuff. Is there anybody that has nothing but small flights? Is that an option? It doesn't seem like it, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. Tulip Airlines Vintage has nothing but medium flights, which is kind of cool. These guys have mediums as well. That's Swiftly Vintage. You know what? I'm going to take both of those because I like the medium flights only. Tulip Airlines here has a huge number of medium flights. I don't think we're going to need those, but sure, we'll take those. And I guess we'll just go accept Jumper. We'll take Forest. We'll take Goose Wings. We'll take Stripe Regional, because they're, again, small flights we're looking for. We have these guys with some small flights too. You guys have them. And I want to say that's possibly all the airlines that had small flights. I don't think anyone else does. So hopefully we can fill out those stands. That's going to be the goal anyway. If we can't, I'm going to be slightly disappointed, but also not entirely surprised. Although I will say it is cool that we have some flights coming in here already. That makes me very, very happy. We obviously have the buses going around and doing their thing as well, which is hopefully not going to cause too many problems as we go underground. Although I'm not entirely surprised that it is causing problems, and this was kind of to be expected. I almost want to say that this little crossover point here is going to be a problem. There's definitely too many vehicles trying to use all of this space. I almost wonder if it would make more sense to sort of move this intersection a little bit. So what if we did this and we did this and then got rid of these parts in the middle completely? So you're kind of forced to hit this road and kind of, this might make it a lot worse, but I'm going to give this a shot and we're going to see what happens is what we're going to do. And you know, I've got to be honest, I can't tell if this is better or worse. It seems like it's better. It seems like it's kind of flowing. I mean, some of them are U-turning because they haven't had their pathfinding updated yet, but this seems to be working. So I'm going to choose to believe that it is working. As for this space over here, Bell Beer is still doing just fine, which is great. We have plenty of people coming and going in here, which is also fantastic. This place is also doing just fine. And of course, this place out here is doing really, really well for itself. Rent and sales revenue so far has been $9.2 million. So realistically, this shop is probably propping up the entire airport, but I'm okay with that. That's totally fine. Let's have a look at the flight planner. That's a horrifying number of flights. 171 is what we're looking at right now. 171 flights. That is wild. 161 tomorrow. That's a lot. I mean, when you think about it, this is a really, really small airport for 171 flights per day. And it's really, really busy, but it is working and we're making tons of money, which I absolutely love. Very big fan of the fact that despite, you know, the construction efforts we've had, 805,000 yesterday, 300,000 so far today. And it's only going to be more because we obviously have all of these flights coming in. I wouldn't be surprised if we start running into some issues with getting ramp agents out here. In fact, we do have complaints from staff not being enough security and not being enough janitors. That's a little surprising, but we can solve that. I'm also going to hire more ramp agents because I think it just makes a bit of sense. We always need them. Janitors, we'll hire you and we will reject the rest. And for security, we'll get you and I guess reject the rest of them. And that'll be totally fine. We can start fleshing out those jobs a little bit more as we go. I do think we'll probably end up needing more refueling trucks, and this is exactly what I suspected was going to happen. We now have too many aircraft for too few runways, and I knew I knew this would happen. I absolutely knew this would happen. I know that the layout we have for the airport is not exactly ideal, so this is not a surprise to me whatsoever that this is happening. The solution for now, realistically, is either we increase the time between flights, or we need a bit of a different layout for all of this. I'm not sure which I want to go for. I mean, we're not going to do anything right now, to be completely honest with you. We are going to move to wrap things up here in a second, but I'm kind of just looking at this and thinking we could do another runway out here. We have the room for it. I prefer them to be parallel. I think it just looks better. So we're going to have to come up with something. We're really, really going to have to come up with something, because this is not good. This is very not good. I think a second small runway might be the way to go. And just so we're clear, to give you an idea of how not good it is, we are now filling up most of those stands. We're up to 180 flights today. So it's getting worse is what it's doing. This is very, very bad. We can get flights taxiing onto runways, obviously, but then they're getting stuck here. So I almost wonder, what if I let not general aviation, but small aircraft use the medium runway? What if I let them taxi the whole way around? I don't know that they will, because this one is closer. But if I let the small aircraft use this one, we might be onto something. We might also be onto something if I have to have them taxi the whole way around and then onto this runway. So they kind of, I mean, they'd be blocking the medium flights, but they're kind of already doing that. So yeah, this is bad. But you know, I think it's hard to complain too much about this airport. Obviously there is work to be done here, but we're making a ton of money. We're approaching $10 million. We did $934,000 yesterday. And that's probably going to be more today, because looking at today, we have 181 flights that are going to be coming through here. I do think I'm going to increase the minimum spacing to 20 minutes just to sort of ease things a little bit. But I think we're doing all right. We're still making a ton of money. I'm still happy about it. We're still in a good place. We will need to start working on that bigger terminal at some point here in the not too distant future. Probably the next episode. I know I said we'd do it today, but I got slightly sidetracked by a project that we really didn't need, but I really wanted to do. So hopefully that's okay. We'll get to the international stuff and the bigger flights. Well, at least we'll start working on those in that next episode, because that's going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.